Shabbat Shalom, everybody.
Shalom.
I'm Rabbi Javier Carapan, and I'm joined here by Leslie Zucker.
C'est moi.
Good morning.
Good morning.
We've been here together for almost 5 weeks. We weren't here all the time. I mean, we went home in between things. Right?
I got a cot in the corner and just don't go anywhere.
And next week is already May, so.
That's crazy.
I'm looking forward to the future, and we have an opportunity for everybody to participate in our service in many ways. And one way is right now, if you look in your comments line and would like to share one thing that you're looking forward to do or see when the pandemic is over, we'll do the same together here, and then you can all see it if you type it and then click enter. We're all going to be able to see it. So one thing that you're looking forward to do when the pandemic is over.
Totally going to cheat and do two things: hug people and play music with people.
Nice.
Like at the same time, in the same room, harmonizing, all that stuff.
Yeah, I think I feel opera deprived.
And that's opera, the music, not opera. Not that there's anything wrong with opera.
Right. I remember somebody told me at the very beginning when I gave a sermon and talked about opera, and somebody thought that I was really
talking about Oprah Winfrey.
Oprah Winfrey.
Yeah.
She thought, good for you. I have nothing against Oprah Winfrey.
Yeah, she's fantastic, but you are speaking of opera.
So also because this week we were supposed to have spent the whole week in Chicago seeing 20 hours of opera. And other things that we had in between. We didn't have one single evening free, and we didn't do any of that.
That's a lot of opera.
And we were actually going to come back tomorrow, Sunday, and go to a concert in the evening of Angela Georgiou, who's going to be here in town. So anyways, I don't want to think about, I know you all have plans for things like we did, so let's just think positive and the things that we actually are looking forward to do when we get out into the world again, which we will. Glad you're able to join us on Shabbat. Excuse me, we are coming to you from the studio at Blue Fox Production in Lenexa. You can find links to our Sidur in the Facebook event, and the links to the Mishaberach and the Kaddish list have been sent out in the e-news that you received Friday morning. There will be information also appearing in the comments during the service. And if you are not able to stay connected or watch it through once it's started and you're having trouble, I understand you can put anything in the comments when you're not connected. So if you look at your screen and find the messenger, the message button, you can click there, and Dave Zucker, who is helping in the back, thank you, Dave, will be able to see those messages and try to help you that way. So the comments are always good, but if you're not watching actively because you get disconnected or something, you're still connected to Facebook, and if you send a message to Congregation Beth Torah, we'll be able to see those and get back to you, try to help you. Please say hi if you're watching us by typing Shabbat Shalom and clicking Enter in the comment space. Also, this might be a great time to share our Facebook live stream on all your social devices, if you know how to do that. And we thank you for that.
It only took me, how many weeks have we been here? That's how long it took me. I was this many days old when I finally was able last night to share.
So, you know, it's an acquired skill.
We're learning as we go.
And one reminder that we are calling the pages in the square brackets if you have two sets. And please find now on your Mishkan Tefillah, Shabbat morning service, Roman numeral 2, which starts around page 287 or so. And the numbers are on the bottom, either at the left or right. Again, as I said at the beginning, we are monitoring your comments and your Facebook messages as well. So let us know if we can help you. But let them know, don't text either Leslie or I, because we can't answer back to you. Sorry. We begin together on page 288 with Modeh Ani.
Modeh ani lefanecha, melech chai v'kayam, שהחזרת בי נשמתי בחמלה, בחמלה, רבה אמונתך.
On page 291, we continue together. Blessed are you, Adonai, our God, sovereign of the universe. With divine wisdom, you had made our bodies, combining veins, arteries, and vital organs into a finely balanced network. Wondrous maker and sustainer of life, were one of them to fail, how well we are aware we would lack the strength to sustain life before you. Blessed are you, Adonai, source of our health and strength. Baruch Ata Adonai, Rofeh Chol Basar Umafli La'asot. 292.
Elohai neshama shenatata bi tehorahi. Elohai neshama shenatata bi tehorahi. Elohai neshama shenatata bi Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam asher natan lasech vivina lehachvin ben yom uven laila. Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam pokeach ivrim. Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam matir asurim. Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam זוקף כפופים. ברוך אתה אדוני אלוהינו מלך העולם רוקע הארץ על המים. ברוך אתה אדוני אלוהינו מלך העולם המכין מצעדי גבר. ברוך אתה אדוני אלוהינו מלך העולם מלביש ערומים. ברוך אתה אדוני אלוהינו מלך העולם הנותן ליהב כוח. ברוך אתה אדוני אלוהינו מלך העולם המעביר שינה מעיני ותמונה מעפעפיי. ברוך אתה אדוני אלוהינו מלך העולם שעשני בצלם אלוהים. ברוך אתה אדוני אלוהינו מלך העולם שעשני בן חורין. ברוך אתה אדוני אלוהינו מלך העולם שעשני ישראל. ברוך אתה אדוני אלוהינו מלך העולם עוזר ישראל בגבורה. ברוך אתה אדוני אלוהינו מלך העולם עוטר ישראל בתפארה.
On page 302, in the middle of the page, we join together in singing a psalm for Shabbat, Mizmor Shir LeYom HaShabbat. The words begin, that we're singing with Tzadik Katamar in the middle of the page.
Tzadik Katamar Yifrach Ke'erez Ba'Levanon Ba'Levanon Yizkeh Shetulim Bebeit Adonai Bechatzrot Eloheinu Yafrichu Od Yanur B'Seva V'Shenim B'Rananim Yiyu Lehayit Ki Yashar Adonai Tzuri Velo Avratavo.
On page 306, we conclude our section of songs of praise by singing together the closing lines of Psalm 150, Hallelujah, page 306.
Hallelujah, hallelujah, hallelujah.
Shabbat, Hallelujah, Hallelujah, Kol Shabbat, Hallelujah, 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 Hallelujah. We now prepare for the next part of our service, which includes the recitation of the Shema. And for this, we will continue together on page 317. 317, and I need to find it. Just a minute. O God, inspiration and guide for all, you have spoken in 1,000 tongues for us to hear. In every land and every age, your children have heard you and imagined you in separate ways. And yet, O God, you are one, unifier of humanity. We give thanks for the sages and teachers who bring us understanding of your will. Gratefully we recall the lawgivers and prophets, the psalmists and sages of Israel, and joyfully we remember that from the dawn of Israel's life, we would turn to you and find purpose. May the teachings of our ancestors live on in our minds, and their passion for righteousness stir our hearts. Help us to live so that our daily conduct reveals the beauty and wisdom of your truth.
Baruch atah Adonai, abocher be'amo Yisrael, be'ahava. Shema Yisrael, Adonai Eloheinu, Adonai Echad. Ve'ahavta et Adonai Elohecha b'chol levavecha v'chol nafshecha u'v'chol me'odecha ve'hayu hadvarim ha'ele asher anochi mitzavecha hayom al levavecha v'shinantam levanecha v'dibarta b'ham b'shivtecha b'veitecha u'v'lechtecha v'derech u'v'shochvecha u'v'kumecha u'kshartam leot al yadecha ve'hayu letotafot b'neinecha u'chtavtam al mezuzot beitecha u'visharecha leman tizkeru v'asitem et kol mitzvotai v'tem kedoshim leolechem ani Adonai Elohechem asher hotzeiti etchem me'eretz Mitzrayim liot lachem le'Elohim ani Adonai Elohechem emet.
Emet. Page 322, we join together as we sing Mi Chamocha.
Mi chamocha ba'elim Adonai, mi kamocha neda b'kodesh, nolati lo, osef eleh, shirah chadasha shiphu geuli, l'shimcha sfat hayam. Leolam va'ed, mi chamocha ba'elim Adonai. Ele.
On page 322, we will begin our moment in which we will have an opportunity, each one on our own, to pray either silently at home or together as we do the Amidah part. The rabbis call this the prayer, Hatfilah. And it's been our intention in our services here to not only come together, but also make it possible for each one of you to have a moment of prayer and reflection at home. So if the words in our Siddur don't speak to you at this moment, you may take this time to offer your own prayers, to meditate, to listen to the music. And we will reconvene at the very end. The Amidah goes through page 337, and we will sing together after our moment of silent prayer, Sim Shalom on page 334. So we begin with Sur Israel on page 322.
Sur Israel, Kuma Bezrat Israel, Uvdechinu Mecha, Yehuda veYisrael, Gohalenu Adonai Tzvaot Shemo, Kedosh Yisrael, Baruch Ata Adonai, Gahol Yisrael. Adonai Sefatai Tiftach, Ufi Yagi Tehilatecha. Adonai, open up my lips, that my mouth may declare your praise. Sim Shalom, Tova Uveracha. Sim Shalom, Tova Uveracha. Sim Shalom, Tova Uveracha. Sim Shalom, Tova Uveracha. Chen v'chesed v'rachamim aleinu ve'al kol Yisrael amecha. Sim Shalom, Tova Uveracha. Sim Shalom, Tova
We will now continue with our service for the reading of the Torah. And we've been doing this, again, slightly different than we would do it in our sanctuary. We don't have an ark or a scroll. So, and we don't walk around ourselves either for the Hakafah. But if you are at home and would like to do your personal Hakafah, you're welcome to do. Or this could be a good time for stretching, you know. This is the
I'm going to tell you, every Saturday morning in my heart, everybody at home is picking up their little mini Torahs and doing a little Hakafah. You can do it in your pajamas. It is okay. But that's what's happening.
We still want to see pictures. I mean, we want to
I would love to see pictures of people doing their own Hakafah at home, Hakafot.
Hakafot, yes. So until such time when we see each other again, parading around our beautiful sanctuary, we will join together in Romemu is on page 367.
Romemu Adonai Eloheinu v'hishachavu le'hakadosh. Romemu Adonai Eloheinu v'hishachavu le'hakadosh. Ki kadosh Adonai Eloheinu romemu. Ki kadosh Adonai Eloheinu romemu. Romemu Adonai Eloheinu v'hishachavu le'har kodesho. Romemu Adonai Eloheinu v'hishachavu le'har kodesho.
So today we are reading from the book of Leviticus, beginning in chapter 12. And this week's Torah portion is called Tazria Metzoha.
It's the fun one.
It takes two Torah portions on this Shabbat. I would let you into a little secret among rabbis, especially in these latitudes. You know probably that in some parts in the northern United States, we tend not to have a lot of B'nai Mitzvahs, if we can help it, in the middle of winter because of the travel problems, the snow and all that. If we can avoid it, we will. So a lot of people choose the time in the spring. And usually you don't want to have it right around Pesach, so you do it after Pesach. And this is what happens. Countless of bar and bat mitzvah students are land basically on Tazria Metzoah.
Wow.
Which is a challenge, to say the least. The word Tazria refers to when a woman at childbirth is, it's impure at the time of her menstrual infirmity. And some of the words in English are even impossible to decipher.
Infirmity.
Infirmity. So
Bless.
And Metzorah, it's the second section about a kind of ailment on the skin. A lot of people translate that as leprosy, but it's not exactly that, but we're not going to be reading that. Here at our congregation, we are using the triennial cycle, and we are reading sections now from the first of the cycles. We did first, second, and third, my first third year, so it's the beginning of we're in my fourth year. And so we're doing now the first cycle yet again. So at this time, we will be reading then from the very beginning of the Torah portion for this week, which is Tazria. So the previous Torah portions have talked a lot about things that enter our body. There were prescriptions about kashrut, things that we can eat, kosher things, and also the things that can make our bodies impure by eating things that are not part of the purity. The Torah portion in this case now turns to the things that come out of our bodies and how those things can do the same. Now, I had said at the very beginning of the book of Leviticus that the book of Leviticus is usually seen as a difficult book for the modern thinker. And one of the difficulties is, of course, the ritual slaughtering of animals, the sacrificial cult. And the other is this whole idea of tum'ah. And in Hebrew, in English, it's usually translated as uncleanness. Although, to be fair to the text, it has very little to do with any kind of sanitary conditions. And I know that a lot of people are making a direct connection between some of the things in this week's Torah portion and the pandemic. I am not one of them. I think we're talking about different things. I think it's a mistake, actually, to think that people who contract a virus, and this was a discussion I think a lot of people had in the 80s about the HIV infections. People say, they're now unclean because they have the virus. And the same, I think, happens with people. And early on, I looked up a lot of the language to refer to people who were infected by COVID, and many of the warnings were about not to do the same that people did with people in the 80s that were contracting HIV.
Interesting. Wow. Wow.
And we saw, without getting too political, about talking about the Chinese virus and things like that, that really stigmatized people from Asian
It's like we don't learn.
So that's why I'm thinking, in this case, Tazria and the pandemic, I don't think they're connected. And I know a lot of people may connect it with Tzara'at, but I'm not really sure about that. So I'm going to go a totally different direction today. Well, almost direct. I mean, we'll talk a little bit about it, but not in the sense that I don't think there's a direct line between this and the plague or the pandemics, okay? Because this is not about a plague. There are lots of texts in the Torah about plagues, but this is not one of them. In this particular case, we're talking about tazria, things that flow from the reproductive organs. And we're just going to talk about that in general. The details, we can read them together in the text. Now, there is no doubt that the word tum'ah, which again is uncleanness, but we're going to use the Hebrew word. I think it's better. Because the Hebrew word really means ritual impurity of some kind.
Right. I was like, it's more of a spiritual uncleanliness than a dirty thing.
Right. So it does, I mean, when you say the word tum'ah, it does have negative connotations. But at the same time, and we don't have time to go through all the texts, so you're going to have to trust me and the commentators in this case, that the Torah itself does not imply any wrongdoing on the part of the affected person.
Good.
So here, like the woman who gave birth is not at fault, and so the negative connotation there should not be attached to that. All right. Although again, I think it's important to maybe we feel more comfortable not to put it in law, all the things about giving birth and the restrictions that are applied to it in the law, and I agree with that, but I think that the thing to keep in mind is that the negative association with tum'ah, with ritual impurity, is not a given. Also, tum'ah seems to be the result of coming out in contact with an awesomely potent force, and this is my commentary here, awesomely potent force that disqualifies one from approaching the sanctuary. Because ritual impurity can also be coming from not only these things that we're talking specifically at the beginning of this Torah portion are with emissions from the reproductive organs, but it also will include contact with a dead body, for instance. And one more thing that I think will open up our understanding of Tumah. Many years ago, I studied this in college. I'm actually at seminary. The books of the Apocrypha and the Pseudepigrapha. And you're like, why? How does that something to do with well, it does, because in the Mishnah, which is a rabbinic text from the 2nd century, 3rd century, probably even earlier, but it was written down then. We read in Mishnah, in the tractate Yadaim, chapter 3, the following. Kol kitvei hakodesh mitmi'im et hayadayim, which translated means all holy scriptures, kitvei kodesh, defile the hands. Now the word here to use defile is the one that we have here, tam'eh. So basically, touching a holy book, handling a holy book, makes your hands unclean. Now, that is not a negative.
That's fascinating. Yeah.
Now, the discussion in the Mishnah, if you're curious about, is actually an interesting discussion for another time about whether the Song of Songs of Ecclesiastes, or which one of those actually defile or make your hands unclean. And this is a discussion of whether they should have been included in the canon of the Hebrew Bible or not, and both where. But the way that the rabbis have to speak about the canonization, basically, of the Hebrew books is whether they make you unclean or not.
That's fascinating.
So now we have, I think, a slightly, a different understanding of what we're really talking about, at least in the ancient world. And I think it's something that helps me understand the text and make it more relevant for us today. In the commentary here, I spent a long paragraph, which I'm going to summarize because I think there are a few things that are interesting about this concept of tumah. And quote, although tumah bars a woman from the sanctuary, we need not see that condition as negative and certainly not as punishment. There is, according to a theory or a way of explaining it, there is a natural holiness found in the miracles of pregnancy, birth, and recovery from illness, which are all listed in Tazria. And then you have the stipulated holiness, the arbitrary designation of certain times and places and activities that are considered holy. And one then can meet God in the experiences of birth and death, sickness and health, but they are not everyday occurrences. So the person who yearns the contact with God, for those people, there is a regular place when we could find a contact with God, and that is not in what the Torah defines as holy places. Whether we agree or not, it's neither here nor there, but they are designated as holy places. And this piece I really like, not being a woman or giving birth or anything like that, so I'm going to go by somebody who wrote and apparently knows what they're talking about. A woman who had just given birth might feel the presence of God so strongly in that experience that she would feel no need to go to the sanctuary to find God. I'd be curious to know if anybody who is out there who has had the experience of giving birth, if they can relate to that or not.
Yeah.
I do think that you don't have to have given birth to understand that in the other cases, especially in death and in illness, and in the recovery from illness, that many of us could experience the presence of God. And in that sense, I think that there is holiness to be found in those moments. And here's where the pandemic comes in, where I think that many of us are feeling that this is a way that God is distancing from us. But this Torah text seems to indicate, at least to me, that no, in those particular places, you can actually have an experience of the divine, and you don't need us.
Right, right, very personal.
You have it in a personal way. So when you're ready to come out of that, then we're here. We're here every Shabbat.
Yeah.
So you can find us anytime. But in those moments of great power in your life, the birth, death, illness, recovery, I think those things are part of our life. And here's how they conclude in the commentary. We can see the notion of tum'ah then as growing out of a sense of reverence for the miraculous nature of birth, the awesome power of death, and the mysteries of illness and recuperation.
That is lovely.
So that at least helped me read this extremely difficult texts about all these flowing things that make us very uncomfortable, I think, especially if you're 13.
Yes. What a...
So, as the rabbis say, Elu ve'elu divrei Elohim chaim. These and those are all words of the living God. On page 369, we join together in our alternative blessing for reading the Torah. Holy One of blessing, your presence fills creation. You have enlightened this path with the wisdom of Torah, giving it to the Jewish people as their particular way. Blessed are you, merciful One, who gives this Torah to the Jewish people. Vayedaber Adonai el Moshe lemor, daber el bnei Yisrael lemor, isha ki tazri'a, veyaleda zachar, vetameha shivat yamim, ki mei nidad devotah timmah. Uvayom Hashemini Imol besar orlato, ushloshim yom, usheloshet yamim teshev bidmei Torah, bechol kodesh lo tigam, vel hamikedash lo tavo, ad melo yemei Torah, ve'im nekeva teled, ותמאה שבועיים כנידתה, ו60 יום ו6 ימים תשב על דמי תורה, ובמלאות ימי תורה לבן או לבד תביא כבש, בין שנתו לעולה, ובין יונה או טהור לחטאת, אל פתח או אל מועד אל הכהן, והקריבו לפני אדוני, וכיפר עליה וטהרה ממקור דמיה. זאת תורת היולדת לזכר ולנקבה, ואם לא תמצא ידה דייסה, ולקחה שתי תורים, או שני בני יונה, אחד לעולה ואחד לחטאת, וכיפר עליה הכהן וטהרה. And Adonai spoke to Moses, saying, Speak to the Israelite people thus, when a woman at childbirth bears a male, she shall be impure 7 days. She shall be impure as at the time of her menstrual infirmity. On the 8th day, the flesh of his foreskin shall be circumcised. She shall remain in a state of blood purification for 33 days. She shall not touch any consecrated things, nor enter the sanctuary until her period of purification is completed. If she bears a female, she shall be impure 2 weeks, as during her menstruation, and she shall remain in a state of blood purification for 60 days. On the completion of her period of purification, for either son or daughter, she shall bring to the priest at the entrance of the tent of meeting a lamb in its first year for a burnt offering, and a pigeon or a turtle dove for a purification offering. He shall offer it before Adonai and make expiation for her on her behalf. She shall then be pure from her flow of blood. Such are the rituals concerning her who bears a child, male or female. If, however, her means do not suffice for a sheep, she shall take 2 turtle doves or 2 pigeons, one for a burnt offering and other for a purification offering. The priest shall make expiation on her behalf, and she shall be pure. Page 269, alternative blessings after the reading of the Torah. Holy One of blessing, your presence fills creation. This Torah is a teaching of truth, whole and balanced, and from it comes eternal life for the people who embrace it. Blessed are you, merciful One, who gives this Torah to the Jewish people. We now take a moment to think of those in need of healing. We have a Misheberach list that you can access in the e-news that you received yesterday, and also look at the link in our comments. If you'd like to offer names, please look at your screen, find the space to make a comment, and in that space you can type names that we can all see. Please go ahead and type.
Find the courage to make our lives a blessing, and let us say Amen.
And as we think of all those in need of healing, the names you're offering, the names in our lists, we take a moment also to offer a prayer for those who take care of the ill among us, the first responders in our country and around the world. May the One who blessed and led our forebears give countenance unto those who provide help for the ill and troubled among us. May they be filled with fortitude and courage, endowed with sympathy and compassion, as they give strength to those at their side. May they fight against despair and continue to find within themselves the will to reach out to those in need. And in their love of others, may they feel the blessing of community and the blessing of renewed faith. We now conclude our part of the service for the reading of the Torah in this section by joining together on page 374 as we sing together Etz Chaim.
Etz Chaimi lamachazikim ba v'tov cheya neushar derocheya darcheinu בכל נתיבותיה שלום השיבנו אדוני אליך ונשובה חדש ימינו כקדם.
This past week, we marked in the Hebrew calendar Yom HaShoah, the day of remembrance of the victims of the Holocaust. As we prepare for our moment of remembrance, I would like to offer a meditation, a reading of a poem by Abraham Shlonsky, a Hebrew poet from the 20th century. His poem is called Do Not Forget. It is in our Yom HaShoah service in another part of the prayer book, but it's not in the prayer book that you have in front of you. It's called Do Not Forget. In the presence of eyes which witnessed the slaughter, which saw the oppression, the heart could not bear, and as witness the heart that once taught compassion, until the days came to pass that crushed human feeling. I have taken an oath to remember it all, to remember, not once to forget. Forget not one thing to the last generation when degradation shall cease, to the last to its ending, when the rod of instruction shall have come to conclusion. An oath, not in vain, passed over the night of terror. An oath, no morning shall see me at flesh pots again. An oath, lest from this we learned nothing.
Ani mamin, ani mamin, ani mamin, ani mamin. באמונה שלמה, באמונה שלמה, בביאת המשיח, בביאת המשיח, אני מאמין. בביאת המשיח, בביאת המשיח, אני מאמין. אני מאמין, אני מאמין, אני מאמין, אני מאמין.
This past week, we mark the 6th anniversary of the murders that occurred at the Jewish Community Center and Village Shalom. To those who died, the hatred, were murdered through the years of the Holocaust, we remember our own here in our own city. Dr. William Louis Corporon, Reed Underwood, Terry Lamano. We now think of our loved ones whom death has recently taken from us. We have here of the passing of Daniel Rutman, brother of Margie Cooper, and Kim Gray Moss, cousin of Chris Gray. We observing the Shiva for Mel Solomon and Bernard Freemerman, uncle of Paula Freemerman. And the Shloshim for Richard Dick Furtick, great uncle of Laura Bolter, Virginia Esser, aunt of Glenn Esser. Mason Kessler, father and father-in-law of Alan and Deborah Kessler. Fred Fairchild, father and father-in-law of Beth and Jim Riker. And on this Shabbat, we remember the following yortzites of members of our congregation: Hans J. Adler, George Altman, Joseph Berkowitz, Helen Bo Brecker, Craig Citron, Dorothy Fagenbaum, Albert Ferber, Katie Finkelstein, Marvin Friedman, Helen Rose Gandol, Lawrence J. Callender, Leonard Klein, Minnie Klutznick, Dorothy Kreitman, Nancy Levine, Lillian Lustig, Ned Nelken, Stanley Oberman, Stella Paris, Flora Patterson, Jack Scott, Miriam Shaw, Leo Schultz, Esther Silverstein, Beth Smith, Merle Smith, May Willer, Shirley Zeskind. Zichronam livracha. May all their memories be for a blessing. If you at home are able to stand and join us on page 598, we recite together Kaddish Yatom, the mourner's Kaddish. Yitgadal v'yitkadash shemei rabba, be'alma divra chirute ve'amlich malchute, בחייכון ובימיכון ובחיי דכל בית ישראל, בעגלה ובזמן קריב, ואמרו אמן. יהי שמי רבה מברך לעולם ולעלמי עלמיה, יתברך וישתבח ויתפאר ויתרומם ויתנשא, ויתהדר ויתעלה ויתהלל שמי דקודשה בריחו, לעילה מן כל ברכתה ושירתה, תושבחתה ונחמתה, דא אמירם בעלמה, ואמרו אמן. יהי שלמה רבה מן שמיה, וחיים עלינו ועל כל ישראל, ואמרו אמן. עושה שלום במרומיו, הוא יעשה שלום עלינו ועל כל ישראל, ואמרו אמן. Our service now continues with our announcements.
We love announcements.
Hodaot, as I had it on our...
Hodaot.
First, we would like to thank our friends at Blue Fox for hosting us today, and to everyone who's joined us from our area and from around the world. Thanks to Dave Zucker for managing our comments. Just a reminder that our building is indeed closed and that our entire staff is working from home remotely. They can be reached, all of us, via email or Facebook Messenger. We're here for you, and we will reply during our normal business hours, not on Shabbat or holidays or on Sunday or Mondays, basically. Our next Facebook Live Shabbat will be Friday, May 8th at 6:30 p.m. If you would like to join us for our Torah study, our Sichat Shabbat or Shabbat conversation that will take place next Saturday at 9 a.m. on Zoom. Please leave your email in the comments, and we will add you to the distribution list. We are planning other ways to be in touch virtually with all of you from this Shabbat until next Shabbat, so stay tuned. And very important, this week is crucial week for everybody who is not able to come to our annual meeting, which is next Sunday.
May 3rd.
May 3rd, because we want to make sure that if you're not able to come, that you send in your proxy as soon as possible.
Easy. It's very easy. Check your email. Tara sent everybody an email, and all you basically reply. The form is in there. If you need to do a proxy, it is the easiest thing to do. And I also have a song session coming up on Wednesday night, 7 o'clock, Facebook Live. Come sing some songs with me and your friends and family. It'll be fun.
And as I said last night, I think there should be no excuse for all of you, anybody, not to be our annual meeting this year is on Zoom. So you need your phone, your computer, your iPad, whatever device you're using to watch things on at home.
Yeah, how often can you go to an annual meeting in your pajamas?
Exactly.
I mean, really.
So we'll be there, and we'll love to see you. We want to see you, but if you say, well, I don't really want to be in camera, that's all right too. You can listen in.
You can just listen.
There are many ways to connect, so we hope to see you there.
So that's a lot of information. How can I be reminded of all of this?
So you can always check Facebook.
Okay.
We'll have everything there. And again, on Fridays at 6 a.m. or thereabouts, your email mailbox will receive our weekly e-news that has all the links that you will need for Shabbat, and of course now for the annual meeting and all the other information that we're coming. Our High Hopes is still going on. We have high hopes for that too, and so that is also in the e-news and all that. So all the information is there. And if you land on our webpage, you can have links from there to everything. So we're trying to connect everything. If you, for whatever reason, are not getting our e-news, just let us know. It's very easy to add you to our e-news as well. Finally, please check us out on Facebook. You probably are because you're watching us on Facebook, but make sure you like our page, and so that you will follow our page and you get notifications when we go live, and leave us comments about the service and other virtual events. We appreciate your feedback. Have a wonderful rest of Shabbat, Shabbat Shalom, and stay safe and healthy. It looks like it's going to be a beautiful day outside.
Oh, yeah, gorgeous.
Rain, it's over.
Gorgeous.
We will conclude our time together on this Shabbat singing the first and last stanzas of Adon Olam on page 625.
Adon Olam,
Adon Olam,
Asher Malach,
Asher Malach,
B'terem Kol,
B'terem Kol,
Yitzir Nivra,
Yitzir Nivra,
Le'et Nasa,
V'chetzo Kol, Azai Melech Shemo Nikra Adon Olam, Ve'ato Akidruchi, Ve'etiran Ve'aira Adon Olam, Ve'imruchi Geviati, Adonai V'lo Ira Adon Olam,
Adon Olam,
Adon Olam,
Asher Malach,
Asher Malach,
B'terem Kol,
B'terem Kol,
Yitzir Nivra,
Yitzir Nivra,
Le'et Nasa,
V'chetzo Kol, Azai Melech Shemo Nikra Adon Olam,
Adon Olam,
Adon Olam,
Asher Malach,
Asher Malach,
B'terem Kol,
B'terem Kol,
Yitzir Nivra,
Le'et Nasa, V'chetzo Kol, Azai Melech Shemo Nikra Adon Olam. Shabbat Shalom,
Shabbat Shalom, everyone.
Take care.
Mwah.